joining me this week. Make sure to check out the Newsmax Daily Podcast. Just go to newsmaxtv.com/podcast. God bless our military, both living and departed. God bless our Gold Star families, our first responders and police officers. God bless you. And until next week, don't catch the stupid.
Good morning. Welcome into Wake Up America. It is Tuesday, September the 28th. I'm Rob Finnerty.
And I'm Rachel Roller.
Let's get into some of the stories that we're following for you on this Tuesday morning. The Senate failing to pass a short-term government funding bill, meaning the government is still scheduled to shut down on Thursday night, which would mean, yes, another crisis for the Biden administration. If some sort of funding bill is not passed between now and then, that deadline again is on Thursday.
Plus, General Mark Milley and Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin set to face questions on the Capitol later today over the botched withdrawal in Afghanistan, with the Senate demanding answers on a wide range of mistakes. Also, though, President Biden receiving his COVID-19 booster shot just days after the CDC approval, while pushing more Americans to get vaccinated amid confusion over who exactly is eligible for that vaccine booster.
Yeah, Joe Biden getting the Pfizer shot yesterday. He's 78 years old. He got his second shot in January. So according to the new CDC guidance, he's eligible for that booster shot as somebody that's over 65. Yes, I heard his joke.
I'm just wondering, did you think it was a joke? So
yes,
if you weren't watching yesterday, right, as he was about to get that shot, he said, and I know I don't look it, but I am over 65.
Does he look it?
I thought he was making actually like a funny joke.
Yeah, no, it was a joke. It was definitely, it was a joke. I actually kind of got a little chuckle as I watched that. But back to this funding bill. I don't think that people are aware, because you hear infrastructure. And part of the reason is we've been talking about infrastructure now for the better part of 5 months.
Since before I went on maternity leave.
Yes, since before. We were like, you just wait, it's coming. My question is he going to have to raise taxes on the middle class? It cost George Bush a second term. Read my lips, no new taxes. But take a look at what's actually in this infrastructure bill. This is just a snippet, but $79 billion at the top. They're calling it tax enforcement, Rachel. They are hiring thousands of new IRS agents to audit the American people to pay for the bill.
And this,
$80 billion worth, $12 billion for electric cars. Those are so the post office can have new electric vehicles. $4 billion for distance learning. There's also free community college in there for illegal immigrants as well. So a lot of stuff in this bill that probably doesn't belong in an infrastructure package.
And also interesting that tacked into that with the debt ceiling, of course, being the topic of discussion, is the relief for areas hit by natural disasters. If you saw Republican Senator Bill Cassidy from Louisiana said he would have voted yes if it was closer, just because Louisiana needs that money for relief.
Of course.
So he's put in a sticky situation, obviously ended up voting no.
I believe Senator Cassidy is celebrating a birthday today as well, sir. So if you are watching, happy birthday to you. All right, let's welcome in the Powerhouse panel. We start with writer and reporter for the Daily Wire, Charlotte Pence Bond, back with us for the second time here on Wake Up America, and Newsmax contributor and national affairs reporter for the National Review, John Fund. Good morning to you both. We're going to be joined by Mercedes Schlapp in just a little bit, but I would like to start, John, with you in this infrastructure debacle. So do you think that come Thursday, this government shuts down, or is some specialized bill passed in the House just to fund the government? Because the Biden administration, if you're keeping count, really can't deal with another crisis right now.
If you're looking at history, there may be a shutdown for a few hours, but probably it won't last until the weekend. The problem here is, look, Republicans and a lot of Democrats are perfectly happy to vote something out, but they don't want to tie together the debt ceiling vote with the government shutdown vote. Those are two different things. They should be handled separately, and we shouldn't just waive the debt limit through the way that it's being proposed, which is more or less a permanent increase with no adjustments going forward.
Charlotte, I want to play you a soundbite. Good morning. Nice to see you again, by the way. I want to play you a soundbite from Jen Psaki. She reiterated what the president said on Friday. This is new to me. Sounds like a lie, but he says that this $3.5 trillion bill, which according to the Wall Street Journal could be more like $5 trillion, is not going to cost the American people anything. $0 to finance and fund this bill. She said it again yesterday. Take a listen.
The reconciliation package would cost $0. So what I'm saying, the case we're making here is that there needs to be agreement on the different components. There's broad agreement on the goals, and then there needs to be agreement on what the revenue pay-fors are. There's a range of options for revenue pay-fors. Clearly, the president has laid out the different areas that he would like to invest in, and all of that needs to come together. That's where we're in the weeds on now.
All right, so Charlotte, simple question. Inflation, they're going to raise prices on everything that we buy every day and every week, just everyday Americans. Is that how we're going to pay for this bill?
Right. I think a lot of conservatives are kind of looking at this and saying, well, nothing's ever really free when it comes to the government, when it comes to government spending especially. And I think that we're seeing a lot of progressives as well that are saying it's going to be at least $3.5 trillion. They want to see that price tag remain definitely at that point. Of course, some of the moderate centrist Democrats are pushing back against that price tag. So I think we're going to see a little bit of a debate maybe take place here this week. So it's definitely going to be a really big week to watch in Congress.
That's a good point. John, I had a theory about this, back to that, I don't know if you were listening a moment ago, but that pledge when George H.W. Bush was running for the presidency in '88, he said, read my lips. No new taxes. Ultimately, he had to raise the taxes. Newt Gingrich was a part of that. Many say it cost Bush a second term. Joe Biden's 78 years old, going on 79. He'd be 82 in 2024. Maybe he knows that he has no intention of running in 2024. So the thought process is, let's pass the bill, then I'll raise taxes on the middle class. But what do I care? He can wash his hands of it because he doesn't plan on running for a second term in 2024.
Why, Rob, are you saying we have to pass the bill in order to find out what's in it?
I'm saying that could be a part of the calculus. What do you think?
Look, George Orwell in 1984 warned about government corrupting language. Notice that Jen Psaki and Biden have talking about pay-fors, but that the bill will cost nothing. Well, there's an inconsistency there. If you're paying for something, how in the world can it be free? Who's paying?
Yeah.
Well, the American people are paying. And by the way, a whole lot of Americans earning under $400,000 a year, which is what Joe Biden's promise was, that below that figure, you wouldn't pay any new taxes. This is a complete con job. This is insulting to the intelligence of the American people. Of course the bill is not free. Of course the cost is not zero. He's insulting our intelligence.
Charlotte, this was circulating late yesterday, but it's another Nancy Pelosi tweet that did not age well. I believe this dates to 2018, but she's talking about the looming government shutdown. And she basically said that we've got, with control of the House, which the president had, and the Senate and the House of Representatives back in 2018, how do we get to a government shutdown? She says this is the first time in recent memory that a government shutdown has been possible when one party has control of the White House, the House, and the Senate. Republicans own that. Do your job. 2018, of course, Donald Trump was president at that time. Well, here we are again, a little more than 48 hours from another possible government shutdown. Do you think she wishes she could have that tweet back?
Well, I saw that tweet as well. I think that it's interesting. I think right now, people are watching. People are watching whenever this kind of thing happens, and whenever whatever party is in control is out there trying to get things done. I think Democrats are pushing through a lot this week, and I think people are watching that. I think they're not only looking at these really big spending bills that are going through, but also the debt ceiling, the government funding. And they're looking at how the Democrats handle it, honestly.
All right, I want to get both of you in here. We've got about a minute left, but General Milley, Lloyd Austin will be two of the three that are going to testify before the Senate this morning. Starts at 9:30. We're going to have Senator Marsha Blackburn joining us in just a little bit. John, to you first. What do the American people need to hear today?
The American people need to hear, in addition to why in the world General Milley decided to break the chain of command, they need to ask him, look, these reports are so well sourced. Bob Woodward had so much information. It's clear it had to come from one person, and that's you. So regardless of the wisdom of your decision, why do you think it was wise to tell a Washington Post reporter all of this information about how the government wasn't functioning and how the government is dealing with its adversaries overseas? This is a publicity stunt for General Milley, who I'm sure will be in a lot of corporate boards, have talk show host invitations. But the question has to be is, why did you leak all of this?
Yeah, General Milley, future MSNBC or CNN contributor, I have no doubt. Charlotte, same question worded a little bit differently to pick up on what John just said. How forthcoming do you expect particularly General Milley to be today? Because this is his opportunity to get his side of the story on the record.
Well, I think what's going to be the most interesting thing actually is what the media does after this. I think the questions that they're going to be asked are going to be interesting, but I also think that a lot of times this media news cycle tends to move away from some of the issues going on in Afghanistan. And I think Americans want to keep talking about it. I think they want to keep hearing about the Americans that are left behind, the allies that are left behind, and what we're going to do to get those people out, and how we're going to recover from this, honestly, on the international level.
All right, great start, panel. We'll see you again top of the next hour. Charlotte Pence Bond, John Fund. Looking forward to that. Alex is out in the newsroom right now. She's keeping a close eye on some stories that we're watching this morning. Hey, Alex.
Hey, Rob. Well, yes, it's time to get you caught up on some stories that we are following. Well, yesterday marked the deadline for New York City healthcare workers to either receive a COVID-19 vaccine or risk losing their jobs. And protesters flooded the streets in opposition. Many of the participants were wearing former President Donald Trump's merchandise, and USA chants could be heard among others. And take a look at this. A herd of nearly 40 goats decided to take the morning off from work in Buckhead. That's just outside of Atlanta. Now, you heard me right, goats. Now, the group, which belongs to a local vegetation control company, escaped their job site and were found freely just grazing alongside a main road. Fortunately, the situation was quickly resolved before any injuries to people or goats occurred. And last night's NFL action saw the Dallas Cowboys improve to 2-1 on the young season as they bulldozed over their division rival, the Eagles, 41-21. And Dak is back. He finished with 3 TDs and just 5 incompletions. While second-year starter Jalen Hurts found himself under pressure all night long. And the home victory came with plenty of emotion for Prescott, as it was his very first home game in 351 days. Wow. That's after he suffered a gruesome ankle injury. Rob, I don't know if you saw that, but prior to the game, during the anthem, Prescott was tearing up a little bit. That made its round through social media. He had tears. He was emotional. And I'll tell you what, I think Dallas, I think they're legit this year. The game, I'm really excited about it, though, and you're going to hear me talk about it more, will be the Bucs and the Patriots this coming Sunday night. Tom Brady's first appearance back in Gillette Stadium, playing against his old team. Bill Belichick, Sunday Night Football. Really excited about that. Thank you, Alex. All right, a lot more coming up here on Wake Up America this morning. Up next, Israel's new prime minister speaking at the UN General Assembly for the very first time. We'll get into that next. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Information. Truth is power. Is freedom. Is money. Is health. Is Newsmax. Millions watch it for free. So can you. No paywall, no subscription. Newsmax is real news for real people.
I will bless those who bless you.
Here in Israel and the former Soviet Union, the Jewish people are living in very difficult times. There are now thousands of destitute, elderly Jews who are desperately in need of basic food. The International Fellowship of Christians and Jews is on the ground with survival food boxes, but the need for food is growing. Call or go online now and say, I will bless these children of Abraham.
It's the elderly widows who are hurting the most. Many of them are also Holocaust survivors who are once again crying out for help. Their need, as you can see, is extremely urgent.
Right now, you can give a gift of life of $25 that will help rush an emergency food box to an elderly Jewish person who doesn't have enough to eat. When you call right now, your gift's impact will be doubled to help save lives.
For over 35 years, this trusted ministry has given Christians like me a way to tangibly bless Jewish people who are in need throughout the world.
Wherever in the world the Jewish people have the greatest need, our spiritual mandate is to feed the hungry and to care for the widows and orphans.
Together, we bring them comfort and love, but just as important, we bring them this life-saving food box.
When you call right now, your gift's impact will be doubled to help save lives. Without your response, their pain and suffering will continue.
Call or go online now and say, I will save a life. I will bless and comfort the Jewish people.
To continue with my business and at the same time to be able to improve myself. I was like, okay, I'm on board.
On Coursera, you can earn a career-advancing bachelor's degree online from a world-class university. Courses, certificates, degrees. Join for free at Coursera.org.
Join the savvy customers who for decades have been using RockAuto.com to access the info hidden behind parts counters. Take advantage of reliably low prices.
All the parts your car will ever need, Rock Auto.
And welcome back to Wake Up America. I'm Rachel Roller. Time to get you caught up on this morning's rapid reactions. It seems those F Joe Biden chants are continuing, from football games to anti-vaccine mandate rallies in New York City. You can see images here showing quite a few people throughout the country as well, not just in the city, protesting their right to make their own decisions. Many taking to the streets and taking to social media to say they're not anti-vax, they're just anti-tyranny. Now, this all coming on the heels of new vaccine mandates for healthcare workers in New York. Governor Kathy Hochul exploring and imploring healthcare workers to, quote, do the right thing. Listen.
We'll be nation leading with our mandate, which strikes at midnight tonight, when everyone is expected in a hospital in the state of New York or a healthcare facility to have been vaccinated. I will be signing an executive order to give me the emergency powers necessary to address these shortages where they occur. That's going to allow me to deploy the National Guard, who are medically trained, deploy people who've been retired, who may have had a license lapse.
So that's now in effect as of this morning. Thousands of healthcare workers taking to the streets to protest those mandates themselves. Again, that went into effect at midnight. And social media kind of firing up, with many tweeting it sounds like the F Joe Biden chants will get a bit more popular soon. Now, Rob, I don't know if you saw earlier this week, Rihanna, the singer, was spotted exiting a recording studio in New York with a T-shirt on that said, "Think while it's still legal." Many assuming it has to do with vaccine mandates or just everything going on right now. Half of the audience on social media was like, this is great. The other half was, how dare you, let's cancel it.
Yeah, just like during the election.
All it said was, think while it's legal.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely referring to the vaccine mandates. But Rachel, just, we're 18 plus months into this whole COVID-19 thing. Somehow we went from 15 days to flatten the curve to you're fired. That's where we are right now.
And healthcare workers being fired. We already have overcrowding.
We used to call them heroes. They used to be heroes. Now they're fired. By the way, the National Guard has no business doing what they're being asked to do. Drive buses in Massachusetts, work in the hospitals here in New York City.
Because they're now a danger to
society. That is not their jobs. Yeah, unbelievable stuff. Thank you, Rachel. Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett is calling on the international community to join him in preventing Iran from getting nuclear weapons. Joining us now for more is the former Chief of Staff at the National Security Council, Fred Fleitz, along with international relations analyst Yair Netanyahu. Gentlemen, good morning. Nice to see you both again.
Good morning.